I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so I decided to do some research. I need to be getting on my court stuff here soon. Priorities, priorities. But I don't know how many people saw this Daily Mail article that came out, and it is like, wow. You kind of see where the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. This is related to Alex Murdaugh. Alex Murdaugh was convicted back in May 2023, or was it March? I can't remember, March or May of 2023, for unaliving his son and his wife on their family estate. And this was just the beginning of this major bombshell that was going on. Apparently, we learned that Paul, the deceased son, was in a boat accident in 2019 that was kind of rocking his family's home and life and everything like that. Because when Mallory Beach died in a boating accident, it was well established that not only did Maggie and Alec know that Paul was using alcohol, they knew he was taking his brother's license to purchase it and still let him go out in the family boat. Good afternoon, MJ, Sammy, Miss Lee, Mom of Three, S. Dot, Stephanie, Sonia, Chris. It's nice to see you all. Just trying to get caught up, just trying to get things back to normal. My throat is feeling better. I'm still having some sinus issues. I do believe it was a bad sinus allergy attack that just kind of turned into a sinus type of thing that went down in my throat. But it all stayed here. It never went in my lungs or anything like that. So I still have a little bit of a hoarse throat, but I'm working through it. And so far, everything has been doing well this Sunday. Thank God. I didn't know what I was going to do. My throat hurt so bad yesterday. I had man voice. I still kind of have a little bit of man voice left, but we're working through it, working through it. So I thought that this was interesting. This is stuff I didn't know. Kudos to Daily Mail for getting this all together. And I wanted to read it because, I mean, it blew my mind. And I know if it blows my mind, it's going to blow your mind. And it's about his dad. His dad was a philanderer and, had many women on the side, many, side dishes. And Alex's mom was going to leave him. And I thought this was very interesting. And it makes me wonder, Maggie was sleeping at a different home. She liked the Edisto property. She was kind of making it her own little place. She didn't really care for um, um, the property where they lost their life. Good gracious, I can't even get all the names straight anymore with this case. And he's like challenging his plea deal. And so the state is asking the appeals court to reject it because he waived his right to appeal. But getting on with this is pretty interesting. So this is a blistering expose has revealed decades secrets surrounding killer Alex Murdaugh's family dynasty, including diabolical threats made by his father. The disgraced lawyer is serving 2 life sentences for the murder of his wife and son, Maggie and Paul, as well as consecutive sentence of 40 years in prison for stealing millions of dollars from his clients. He comes from a long line of corruption, scandal, and men who abused their power. And investigation by the Wall Street Journal found. So this is a report by the Wall Street Journal. Alex Murdaugh, father Randolph Murdaugh II, was allegedly a serial philanderer who cheated on his wife Libby Murdaugh. When Libby discovered his infidelity and threatened to divorce Randolph III, reportedly called in her obituary to the largest paper in the state as a warning of what would happen to her if she dumped him. Makes you wonder, is this why he decided to do it? Was Maggie going to leave him? They were having problems. I mean, Paul was the investigator. Paul was finding his pills and all this other crazy stuff. This is his dad, if you guys don't know. There he is. He's deceased. Libby died at the age of 85 in March, 3 years after the disgraced lawyer tried to use her as an alibi in the murder of his wife and son. Randolph Murdaugh III's father Randolph Buster Murdaugh Jr., served as solicitor for the 14th Judicial Circuit, a large swath of South Carolina covering 5 counties from 1940 to 1986. During his tenure as solicitor, Buster was charged with the leader of the largest bootleg ring in the South, according to the Journal. Multiple witnesses testify he pressured them to lie, but Buster was eventually acquitted. When he returned to the solicitor's office, he retaliated by charging the witnesses against him with state liquor law license violations. Similar to his son, Randolph III, Buster was said to be a womanizer. Allegedly, Buster hired a hitman to take out a woman who said Buster got her pregnant. However, the would-be assassin fell asleep while hiding out. Go figure, lucky woman, right? A portrait of the double murderer Alex Murdaugh's grandfather, Buster, was removed from the South Carolina courtroom where his trial was held. That's his mom, Libby. And there they are together. They don't. She's pulling away from him in that photo. They're not too. Yeah. For more than a century, the Murdaugh. Listen to that. More than a century, the Murdaugh family wielded immense power in the Low Country, with 3 generations of families serving as elected solicitors. That's the district attorneys, as district attorneys are known in the 14th Circuit from 1920 to 2006. Randolph Murdaugh Sr., Alex's great-grandfather and founder of the family law firm, died when his car mysteriously stopped on the railroad track in 1940. A train slammed into it. The death led to a payout benefiting Buster. In a Netflix documentary, Murdaugh Murders, A Southern Scandal, journalist Michael M. DeWitt Jr. revealed that according to the train conductor's comments to the local paper at the time, Murdaugh Jr. was near the tracks and waved at the train as it was speeding toward him. Then he sped his car so that it was on the track at the time of impact. His body was found 150 feet away from the crossing. Murdaugh Sr. had been battling an illness before he was killed, but felt well enough to visit a friend on the evening of July 18, 1940. When he was driving home around 1 a.m., his car mysteriously stopped at the railroad crossing, according to DeWitt Jr., who cited Greenville newspaper clipping from that time. A freight train slammed into the Murdaugh's car, killing him instantly, it was reported. Another report by Hampton County Guardian had the train conductor stated Murdaugh Sr.'s car was near the crossing and he waved at the train as it was speeding toward him. As the train got closer, the car sped up and ended up on the tracks as the train hit him. And that is his great-grandfather. Interesting. This is Buster. Looks like a mafia guy. And there's his father. His death was ruled an accident despite speculation that it was alcohol related or possibly a suicide. Sounds like it. The Murdaugh family sued the railroad company, Charleston and Western Carolina Railway Company, over the accident, it was reported. The company sued for $100,000 and Greenville News had reported. It was settled privately for an undisclosed amount of money. 4 generations later, untimely deaths still surround the Murdaugh family, including that of Mallory Beach, who was killed in a boat accident in 2019 with Paul Murdaugh at the wheel. Stephen Smith, a peer of the Murdaugh's son, who was found dead on the side of the road in 2015. And the family housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. In 2021, Alec gunned down his wife and his son on the Moselle property. So it sounds like this is getting, I told you this case when we started out on it was going to be something made for the movies. I mean, his family is as a family that would go down in history. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have been running that county as basically the state attorneys for 100 years. They had an immense amount of power, and they could get away with just about anything without them being held accountable. This is the first time in the history of the Murdaugh dynasty that a Murdaugh was actually held accountable for their actions. Alex Murdaugh is something else, and it makes you wonder because, you know, we always say the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. And we had to figure out what in the world made him like that and how many more are like that. It sounds like the Murdaugh power has been stripped. Not just stripped, I mean, it no longer exists. They removed his grandfather from the courthouse. They removed the family name off the law firm that his great-grandfather started. And they basically been erased from power in that area. But still, from my understanding, they're still a very powerful family. And people are still scared of them and scared to speak up about them. So all this stuff is, I'm sure, taking a lot of work and going through a lot of information to get, oh, hey, Hindsight, it's nice to see you, my love. And everybody else that's coming in here. I'm not going to stay too long on here. I just found this being very interesting, that his father threatened to unalive his own mother if she left him because she found out he wasn't hers, right? He was everybody else's. She only had the Murdaugh name, and she was supposed to sit pretty and keep quiet, and if she didn't, she wouldn't live anything. She wouldn't have a lifestyle of any kind. I just, you know, it makes you wonder where a man just decides to come and unalives his family. And when you start looking in the history of the leaders of his family, it's hard to dispute why we're here. It sounds like they were accustomed to doing whatever the hell they wanted to in that community. And I can't wait until they finally get all these bits and pieces together. I would like to see what the life of Alex Murdaugh looks like from childhood on up. And it makes you wonder, when did he threaten to unalive Libby? Was it while the kids were young? Or was it when Alec was already out of the house and had a family of his own? We don't know. We don't know. But there's a lot here. His whole entire family. Criminals. Criminals. His Buster Murdaugh, right? A gangster. A bootlegger. And a solicitor. I hope they do a family tree documentary. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, Truth in Time. That's what I'm talking about. He did what his daddy didn't. Yep, C-Star. Sure did. Sure did. Guys, don't forget to, while you're here, go out there and give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing. You need to subscribe now because in 5 days you'll be able to comment on the stuff that we're covering on this channel. Alex Murdaugh, we've been covering this case from the beginning. There was just something that gravitated me to this case when I started hearing about it. You know, when we heard about his son and wife being unalive, we started looking into it. We started seeing the death of, you know, the first one was Mallory Beach is the first one I found because it was the soonest to this one because it happened in 2019. And then as we did our research, we realized, wait a minute, even his housekeeper, we knew something was not right. And then we heard Stephen Smith. I don't think Stephen Smith had anything to do with the Murdaughs, but we don't know. We don't know. We don't know who the person is, or at least I haven't reviewed it, but it sounds like they're getting closer and closer to finding out what happened. It sounds like it was a big mirror on one of the big pickup trucks that got Stephen Smith in the back of the head. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was alcohol related. And I'm not sure if the people were friends with the Murdaughs or not, because it was awfully funny that Randolph reached out to Susan and you know, wanted to help her. It seemed like they were fishing for information at the time. And it's a little scary to think that you look at this family's history and to think that they had control over this area for 100 years. It's, you know, that's, I don't want to get into a political talking point, but that's, you know, more in part why we should have term limits. I'm sorry, not sorry, but it's stuff like this that you don't know about, you know, and this went on for 100 years without anybody knowing squat or being able to do squat about it. 100 years before Alex Murdaugh was held accountable for their actions. 100 years. That's exactly why we need term limits. But more to do with Alex Murdaugh. For those that don't know, Alex Murdaugh is also, I said at the beginning of this, but if you're just joining in, he's actually appealing his plea deal. And a part of a plea deal basically waives your right to appeals. And it limits your right to appeals. And there's only certain things that you can appeal on if you choose to appeal. And that's him appealing. The sentencing is not part of that. So now the DOJ is asking for the appellate court to squash the or quash the appeal. So I don't know what's going to go on with that, or if they're going to have a hearing or anything like that. Yeah, talking about the Proudfoot, somebody posted in these one of the group chats that they went up to the courthouse to see what was going on at the courthouse, and after because I knew I wasn't going to go because I wasn't properly served. And not only that, but they don't have jurisdiction over me being a Florida resident. And so at the end of the day, there was quite a few people that went up there, and we talked about some of that, because I feel like there's an appearance of impropriety going on with the Sumner County Sheriff. But we went over that in the first live. If you haven't watched it, please go back and preview that. But lo and behold, one of the people that showed up there caught a white truck, construction-looking truck, drive by their house and literally almost come to a dead stop in front of their house until they walked out, and then they speed off. Now, I just want to say, the license plate was captured. I hope she goes down to the police department and files a report. But she's got it all captured, and you guys can go. I think it's on Justice for Sebastian Rogers' Facebook group. If you guys haven't signed up for that, please go over there and join that group. And it was a little spooky, because you know what? It's their family or them. You have this gut instinct that it is. And you just keep looking at this, and keep looking at all the effort that they're putting in to silence critics. But they fail to even look for their son, and people want to try to convince us that they've got nothing to do with this, like Nick Barris. Bull to the you-know-what. I say bull crap, bull crap, bull crap. And if Nick Barris doesn't have any better common sense, journalism is, partly common sense. Okay? And if you can't have common sense that, wait a minute, they can stalk all these people in their community that are going against them because they want to find out what happened to this boy, but they can't even put not even a tenth of that effort in actually trying to search for their own boy. Do not tell me they have nothing to do and something did not happen inside that house. Their actions are screaming red flag. Screaming. So, I'm a grieving mom, and if my son was missing, you could not shut me up. Exactly, Abigail. But look at all the effort that they're putting into everybody else but not their own son. And there are still some idiots on this platform that want us to look at every other possibility but them. We have looked at every other possibility. We've looked at the abduction theory. We've looked at him walking out on his own and somebody snatching him theory. We've looked at it as a Seth did it theory. None of them held water. We went through all the theories. There's only two possibilities at this point left. And I don't need a reporter from the area that's so far up the frickin' sheriff's patootie telling me how I'm supposed to think. Sorry, not sorry. And I don't even trust the sheriff at this point, to be honest with you. He has given me no reason to trust his ability to properly investigate this case for his buddy, Christopher Proudfoot. So, the who that went to on YouTube to create a circus theory. Well, of course. He may never made it home from the steakhouse. I believe he made it home from the steakhouse. I've always believed he made it home from the steakhouse, because he was in shoes at the steakhouse. His shoes are at the house. And I don't think they would have thought to take his shoes off before he got home. So, doesn't Danny Guy drive a white truck? Probably. We have inside info about what happened, what the police is up to in Tennessee. Well, send it over to me, bullhornbuddy@gmail.com. Please provide me receipts if you can. If I can't use the receipts, that's fine. I just need to see them, because I'm not one to produce the receipts, but it doesn't mean I don't maintain the receipts. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling better, Serenity. I mean, the more I talk, the worse my voice gets. That's the bad part. When I started out, I felt like I had my voice back, but now we're 20 minutes in, and I'm back to being man voice. So it's coming and going. But the throat, the actual, like I couldn't even swallow hardly. That's all gone. It's all just still in the sinuses. I think that was all from postnasal drip. I'm telling you, I could tell exactly when it happened. I knew it had to be allergy related. It may have, went into like a sinus type of infection, but I knew when it happened, because I remember it was, the hurricane had already passed. That's how I was able to get home. And it was the first day I had seen Delilah, and I took her out back of my mom's house to let her use the bathroom before we came here. And when I went and took her to the bathroom, it was like within an hour of me taking her to the bathroom, I started sneezing and I started feeling congested. And I thought, and I didn't have any of my allergy medicine with me. And so I asked my mom if she had some, and she didn't have the allergy medicine I took. So I probably should have just taken something then, but I didn't. And lo and behold, within like the very next day, I could start feeling the throat getting a little sore, but by that time it was a little too late. So all I did was just flood my body with some vitamins, and I took 2 allergy pills, and it helped dry it up, but it didn't help my throat any. And so I was taking some sore throat stuff, but the only stuff you can get that's really good is with cold and flu medicine, but it'll stop you from coughing from the postnasal drip, but it just makes you really drowsy. So yesterday I was in bed all day drowsy because I was taking medication, over-the-counter medication that was making me drowsy. So by last night I could tell when I was swallowing, I'm like, okay, the sore throat's almost all gone, and I know it's not going to come back, because you can just tell. And so now it's just all, just kind of all right here. And so I'm just trying to get that out now. And so I'm going to stop taking medicine just to kind of break that up. I've been drinking a lot of water. And then once I can get that expressed, I think I'll be fine. So postnasal drip causes horrible. So it does. My sore throat lasted 2 days. So gargle. Well, I don't need to do it now, because it's all gone. It doesn't sound like it, because my voice is still a little hoarse from all of it, but my throat is not hurting. It's just I have a hoarse throat, hoarse voice because of the stuff that was going on for the last 2 days. So, and I made a huge pot of chicken soup. Oh my gosh, I didn't put any rice in it, any noodles. It's just straight broth and chicken and carrots and celery. Sorry, when I move, the tripod wants to go forward. And onion and baby girl. We learned some new things about baby girl. She loves apples, which is always a good thing. She loves apples, and she loves carrots. Like, she jumped over her dog food to get to her carrot. And so I'm glad she likes healthy things, because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably going to end up starting to make her own dog food here. I'll know it's healthy. I know what's in it. I know that there's no preservatives in it. It's going to be fresh as fresh can be. I know not to use onions. I know not to use, I think I can use a little bit of salt for seasoning, but I can't do the amount that we consume. It's not good for them. A little salt is really good for them, though, because it does make them drink more water, and it helps them, from my understanding, from what the doctor told me. Any news on Stephen Smith, who, I haven't looked into the Stephen Smith. I talked to his mom the last time I was at the hearing for Alec, the one that he was going in there for the financial crimes. Actually, no, it was the one where Becky Hill was on the hot seat. I saw Susan. Let me see, Stephen Smith. Let me just... Sorry, it just... It likes to... Okay, what is going on? I get so frustrated with this. Okay, let's try it again. Stephen Smith. Death. Let's see if we have any news. A year later, still no answers, and reopened Stephen Smith case. Still nothing yet. She felt good, though, about this year. There is an article on 48 Hours. They did do a reenactment. They did find out. But see, there was a guy, and I know we heard his name, and he talked about driving by there because he thought he hit a deer. He was heavily drinking the night before, and he thought he hit a deer, and he drove by there, and he saw the crime scene unit and everything there, and realized that it might have been a person, and the person's name was revealed, but I can't remember it because it was like 2 years ago when I was researching that aspect that his name was brought up, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was, but it was the guy that came forward that said he saw, he thought he hit a deer on that area, and he did have a pickup truck as well. So, but that's really it. All right, guys. Well, I don't really have a whole lot on Alex Murdaugh. It's just a case that we followed from the beginning. You know, we were out there where Paul and Maggie lost their life physically. There, I stood right in front of the doorway where Paul Murdaugh was unalived, and stood in the area where Maggie lost her life as well. We went to the homicide, the murder trial. We were there for that. I was at the auction. I was at the financial crimes hearing. We were at the Becky Hill, new trial hearing type thing that was in front of retired Supreme Court Judge Toll. And, now he's going to the appellate process for his financial crimes. So I know that that's coming up, but the Department of Justice I think that they're having this new hearing in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. I could have sworn when I was reading where they're having it, they were having it at the Supreme Court in Virginia. For some reason, it was out of state or something like that. I unless I'm mistaken it, I could have sworn it was from a different state. But it just sound. Oh, this is from Hyde. I can't remember his name, but he was running several years ago, I think in 2020 for office, and this was a shirt. I'm not feeling well, so after I took my shower, I just picked up a shirt and put it on. Right, that's how we roll. So you guys got me. I'm Bedhead Betty today. I love everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm still recovering from my illness, and but I'm feeling better this afternoon, and I got some really good chicken soup down my hatch, and it made me feel 100% better. So I like it because it just it's something about it. Maybe it's a salt or something about chicken soup, but it just starts breaking up everything, So that's what we wanted. Anyways, I'll be back a little later today, or maybe not. I don't know. I may do one on. I haven't been on my other channel. I haven't been on Crime Stories channel in a while. We need to have a kickback, laid back. Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll start rolling back out to doing what we're normally accustomed to doing. Throughout the week. Now that I'm here and I got baby girl and things are settling down. I'm not really too worried about the Proudfoots. Like I said, we've got an attorney. Anybody that wants to help support those fees, you guys can send some your donations or whatever to my Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. But I've already hired the attorney. The attorney is going to be out there tomorrow and we're just going to move forward with what we can get done and just fight, fight, fight. I did nothing wrong. They're malicious in what they did. They did it to try to shut me up, even though I've done nothing wrong to violate the law or even their safety. I haven't even seen them in the flesh. You know, and this idea, I think I heard that somebody said that they told law enforcement that I'm encouraging you guys to stalk them. That's part of their claim. I have never encouraged you guys to stalk these people. So it's like, okay, you know, if you guys send me something, send it to me. You know, that's still not asking you guys to stalk them. People are posting this stuff all over social media. If you guys want to send it to me first, send it to me first. That's all I'm saying. Still not stalking. Still not asking you guys to stalk, right? People do what they do all on their own. You know, we just pick up on it. If they're going to do it, I'm just saying, hey, send it to me first. That's it. Yeah, I know. I know, Karen, they are. So anyways, guys, I love you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to get this information out there. I thought this was interesting. You know, we've been watching Alex Murdaugh. None of us really like him. No, you know, it's kind of funny because we don't really like, you know, Jim Griffin or Dick Harpootlian. But, you know, I got to be honest with you. They kind of grew on me over the time. They're good attorneys. They're good at what they're doing. They're fighting for their client. You know, you can't fault them for that. You know, he's entitled to a good defense. You know, they're the best in their job. You know, they fought, they went to the mattress for the man. You know, you can't fault them for that. We didn't like them because of the way how they had to do it, but you know what? He deserved the defense, and they did a great job at defending a very, very guilty client. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, guys, I love you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, please be kind to one another. God bless.